All right, I think we're live. Testing, testing. Looks like my audio is working. I see the little audio thing right here. I think my audio is working. What's up, guys? It's been a few days. I've done a few upgrades to the stream. I got a long enough power cable so that my phone camera now stays connected and doesn't die in the middle of the stream like it did last time. I got some updated thumbnails. Get those clicks. What else is going on? What else have I been doing on the stream? I updated the overlays a bit. I think I still want to do that music visual overlay I talked about last week. I think I want, music to be a part of the atmosphere of the stream. And so I think a music visualizer would be good. But for now, I just have some nice psychedelic imagery. Here, let me show you guys real quick. Let me show you guys. What's up, Durai? It's good to see you, homie. What is this stream room? This is just my bedroom. This is just how I live my life, man. Dude, I haven't practiced Rano at all since you sent me that information. I gotta try him out more. I tried playing Rano before you sent me into that stuff, and I definitely just completely shit the bed. I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't recover at all. I was so bad. The only character in Rivals 2 that I can play right now is Claren, because she's the absolute most brain-dead character I've ever seen in any video game ever. Claren was so easy compared to anything else I tried. Part of it might be that I come from a Marth background in Melee, but I think part of it is just that Claren seems really, really brain dead. Like, she seems way easier than Marth in Melee. I can just kind of swing, and I get tippers half the time without even trying. Her up air arc is really stupid. Her recovery is I don't know if her recovery is good against good players. I've got no idea, but at least against scrubs, no one can seem to edgeguard it, so I enjoy that. I suspect that the level I'm playing at just a lot of people are probably missing things on how to edgeguard her. But right now, people just stand in the way of her up B and get hit. It's awesome. Low level play is just a completely different beast. Yeah, so I guess some of the stuff I want to do today. So there's 3 projects that I'm hoping to get done very soon. One is done and released. So I'm going to show that real quick. It's a really, really simple thing. So I've got 4 monitors in my room, and when I want to meditate here, when I want to sleep here, I want to turn these off really easily. And Windows makes it really annoying to turn off monitors. I can go manually turn them off, or I could go find the sleep option or whatever. But I just have this program that lets me do this in one keyboard shortcut. Look at that. Look at that. It's called Sleepy Screens. I've got it out on my GitHub right now. I'll post a link later. There's a few other tools out there that do this kind of thing, but all of them add a bunch of extra features. All of them are a little bit more annoying to use. This one's plug and play. You open the program, and then you just have this keyboard shortcut available. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's honestly really improved my life, just this one little simple thing. What's up, Ever the Goat? Are you my first viewer on YouTube? You are my first viewer. Thank you for joining us, homie. What's up, Arjun Lego? Awesome. Thanks, homie. So the other projects that I want to work on today, one might be done. I think I just need to do a little more bug testing, but it's this Cerberus program that I've been talking about the last several streams. Basically, you want me to call you Panda? All right, homie. Basically, the way Cerberus works is it's kind of like virtual desktops, except if you have a multi-monitor setup like this, it basically makes each of your virtual desktops just one monitor. So you can assign all the windows on each of your monitors to a single workspace. You can swap around your monitors. You can hide some, show some. I'll show that all in a bit. I think it's pretty much done. I think it's pretty much ready to release. I did a few bug fixes the last couple days, and I think it's good to go now. But we might need to do a little more testing. And then the last thing I wanted to finish today is just a basic Docker script for launching Claude Code in a Docker, because the way I've been using Claude all of these months is pretty risky. I like to use a little flag called dangerously skip permissions. What that does is so I'll back up. Claude is one of the LLMs out there. It's a competitor with ChatGPT and Grok and all of those. I think it's way better than those. I think people who are skeptical about LLMs have just been using the wrong ones, to be honest. I think Claude is really good. I'm not saying it's infallible, but I think it's really good. I've been using it a lot for coding. it's got this flag called dangerously skip permissions that I love to use, because if you don't use it, it asks you every time it wants to write to a file. It asks you every time it needs to like do stuff in your file directory, which is pretty annoying if you just want to like get a lot of work done. But dangerously skip permissions also means that if your LLM goes haywire, it could just remove all the files from your computer. So I wrote a little Docker script to compartmentalize these things, and I haven't tested it yet, so I'm hoping to do that today. And if it works, I'm going to go ahead and put that out as well. Ali, good to see you, homie. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I think those are basically the things I was going to work on today. And then if we get to other stuff, we'll get to others. Oh, one other thing. I finally got my DJ thing working again. So my DJ controller was shitting the bed before, and I should probably put this information out there because this is a bug that a lot of people have had, and I haven't really seen good solutions for it. Claude actually gave me the answer when I was like talking to it. It like, gave me a bunch of things to troubleshoot, and it told me to try this, and it worked. So the issue I was having, let me bring up my DJ software real quick. Let's see, is this the right overlay? Oh, I've got titled up. Yeah, so for anyone new to DJing, you probably have your DJ controller, which is this thing right here. That's a DJ controller. And you probably have your DJ software, Rekordbox or Serato or whatever it is, and you're trying it for the first time. And what a lot of people will encounter is that this thing takes up like 100% CPU usage on one of your cores. It'll just max out one of your cores, which is crazy. For something that's basically a glorified version of hitting play, it shouldn't take that much CPU usage. And when it takes up all the CPU usage, it'll just like drop out audio, stuff like that. It'll just pause in the middle of your song for multiple seconds trying to buffer whatever it's trying to buffer, and it's a pain. It's a huge pain in the ass. So I figured out what the issue was. Let me show you guys real quick. So first of all, let me recreate the issue. That's important. So if I open sound settings, is it sound settings that I want? What did I open up? Sounds. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and open up Task Manager real quick. Wow, it's already taking a long time to boot. Okay, so as you can see, do you guys see this core right here where my cursor is? My cursor is showing up on OBS, right? Yes, it is. This cursor is just maxing out. Look at all this CPU usage. Your DJ software and hardware should not be maxing out an entire core of CPU usage. That's crazy for a glorified version of hitting play. So I was trying to debug a bunch of things in the software. I was trying to turn off random features that I thought might be taking up space, like the automatic analysis, the stems extraction, stuff like that. I thought maybe that's why all of this was happening. I thought that maybe it was an issue with the USB cable or maybe the USB port, and maybe that's why there was a problem communicating between the hardware and the software. No, apparently the issue was like much more straightforward, but also like kind of unintuitive. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. By default, your DJ controller does count as an audio device in Windows because, I mean, it's capable of producing audio itself. It has like a speaker output. It has a headphone output. So this technically counts as an audio output device. And for whatever reason, Windows trying to use this thing as an audio device is the reason that this thing takes up so much CPU. I don't get it at all. I don't know why that's the case. None of my other audio equipment does this, but it does seem to be the case for this piece of equipment. So, if you guys are struggling with the same thing, you can go to your little sound icon in the lower right, right-click, click sounds, and it'll bring up your list of sound devices right here. I say right here, but it's loading. There we go. Or, well, it shows you this menu. You go to the playback menu, and now it shows you all of your different devices. So, all my monitors count as audio devices, the speakers I have connected count as audio devices, etc. And this thing also counts as an audio device. You just go here and disable this. Watch this. Disabled. Look at that. Look at how my CPU usage got cut in half just by doing that. Don't ask me why this works. I don't know why this thing took up 100% CPU usage doing this, but whatever. It worked. So, yeah, for anyone at home who's struggling with the same thing, you're trying to get into DJing and you're having CPU usage issues, just try doing this. It might work for you. I'm pretty happy about that because I do want to get into some DJing on stream. Like I said earlier, I want music to be part of the vibe of the stream. I'm not gonna be DJing yet because, I'm gonna be honest, I'm really bad at it right now. But let's put on some tunes I want to listen to. Oh, I know what I want to listen to. I'm gonna listen to the new Skrillex album. I've been listening to this one a lot lately. I'm just gonna put it on. How's the audio balance, guys? Are we good with the audio balance? Audio balance looks good in my volume mixer. You guys should let me know in chat if there's a problem with it. Alright, so let's get into some software stuff. Humble Drum, good to see you, homie. At some point, Humble, I do want to get into working on the bot again on stream, actually. I haven't started working on that. I guess I need to think through exactly how I want the testing framework to work, given that it's a Discord bot. But I do want to get into doing some of that stuff on stream as well. Have you done anything on the bot lately? I haven't touched the bot. I've been working on other stuff. So speaking of which, let's get into other stuff. Audio balance might be fun for you guys. It was too loud for me, but I'm good now. Started your master's degree? Oh, nice, dude. Nice. All right, let's see. Okay, now we have all our monitors up. Go ahead and get MinFlow. So this is MinFlow, which I think some of you have seen before. So MinFlow is a to-do list app I'm working on. I'm hoping to release it in a product in a month or 2 or 3, who knows. But it's a to-do list app I'm working on that is very... there's a big emphasis on the visual component, and there's a big emphasis on multitask productivity. And those are the main ways in which I think MinFlow kind of distinguishes itself from other to-do list apps. Also the fact that it's got a pretty minimalist interface overall. A lot of the to-do list apps I've tried just have way too much going on. And like, I'm a simple guy. I just want like my one simple way of doing stuff. This is MinFlow. Basically, I've got all these sticky notes that are not actually notes, but decks. So you can think of a deck as a project, and you can think of each card in the deck as a task in the project. So, you know, you complete the top card of the deck, that's the next task to do. You go into the next card in the deck, and you have this kind of deck interface where you're always looking at the top card of the deck. And the reason it's designed this way is to make it really easy to figure out what exactly your next step to take on each project is when you have a whole bunch of different things you gotta do. Like, when I say projects, like, to some extent I mean work projects, but I also mean other things, like maybe chores, maybe family responsibilities, maybe responsibilities for yourself in terms of, you know, just cooking and meditating and things like that, exercise, stuff like that. For me, I've got some projects related to both coding and music, and my live stream. So I've got so much stuff going on, it's hard for me to organize all this stuff in my head. And so that's why I created this interface, because this way I can look at a lot of different things in parallel and have a good sense of what is the next step that I can execute in each of these projects. And that helps me a lot in terms of executing as efficiently as possible. I could still be better, but it's definitely a tool that helps me a lot. What's up, Barry Cute Bear? Thanks for joining us, homie. Would be fire for baking recipes. There's basically always sequential steps really parallel. Yeah. Especially if you're cooking multiple things at once. Like, if you're doing meal prep and you want to do, you know, you gotta do an entree, you gotta do a few side dishes, maybe have a carb and a protein and a vegetable dish that you're all doing. Having several in parallel, each of which is sequential, I think can be a good way to sort of structure that. So, this combination of parallel and sequential, I think, really helps me, at least, when managing a bunch of different tasks at once, or a bunch of different projects at once. This is not the only tool I use for multitask productivity. As I talked about on stream before, Cerberus is a very important tool for me that I use, that I want to release very soon. I think it's pretty much done. As you can see, I don't even have any cards left in Cerberus. I don't even have anything left to do. I guess I'm only 99% sure that it's bug-free and not 100%. But I do want to release it very soon. I'll show you guys what Cerberus is. I think I need to maybe, like... Oh, I know one thing that I have to do with Cerberus, which is I need to actually see if the README is, like, good and up-to-date. Check/update README add card. Oh yeah, you guys probably just saw that I resized these decks. The reason I size things differently, excuse me, the reason I size things differently is so that it's easy for me to tell what is a high priority project and what is a low priority project. So big things hit your eyes faster, right? Simple. So anything here that's big, I know is a high priority project. Anything here that's small is something that I can basically ignore. And if it's too noisy for me, I have this little size filter right here, which removes all of these small decks for me. So I can focus really on just the things I care about that are the highest priority. Do you work full-time or while working on all these projects? I am trying to monetize Minflow when I put it out. And I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. I do not currently have a full-time job outside of what I'm doing here. I really care about the stuff that I'm working on right now. I want to do AI research. I want to create tools for making it easier for people to do really cool stuff with LLMs, because I think LLMs are very powerful. But I also think that LLMs, when used naively, can be really shitty. So the tools that allow you to use LLMs more productively on a one-by-one basis, and also more of them in parallel while keeping your productivity high, those things are important to me. So I want to work on those. And I also care a lot about making music. I've kind of taken a break from music for maybe the last month while I've been focusing on getting the stream up, getting a lot of coding stuff going, but I also care a lot about music, and I want to bring that back too. But yeah, I spend a lot of time on this stuff. And yeah, we have a size filter. We have other filters too. Like, let's say I only care about working on stuff that's related to, like, my sort of workflow and regulation. All that stuff is blue for me, right? So if I go here and a filter by blue, then I can just look at the stuff that's relevant to, like, okay, I'm trying to, like, figure out how to optimize my workflow, optimize my mental state, stuff like that. Or maybe I only want to focus on my AI stuff, right? Then I can only show my AI projects, etc. Or my AI focused projects, I guess. I guess I should be a little more specific when I say AI versus not. By AI, I don't mean anything that I use an LLM for. When I say AI, I'm referring to, like, an AI research project. Something that is intended to sort of improve intelligence itself, I guess. Like, how do we get more intelligent behavior out of our LLMs, and how do we get more intelligent behavior in other realms of AI? But everything here that's an octagon, all of this is coding in general, right? So all these blue things are tools that I'm coding with LLMs, but I'm using them for things like making multitask productivity more efficient. Or like these yellow things are for game projects, right? So like this one's Axie. This is the one that Humble Drum and I have been working on a bit. It's a Discord bot game engine tournament runner thing. And then this one is Versus, which is a turn-based, Godot-based game engine that I'm working on. So both of these are yellow. I use this kind of color coding to help me like distinguish the projects quickly. Anything purple here is stuff that's related to like aesthetics. Not gonna lie, I'm on the opposite camp. I feel like LLMs are amazing as better rubber ducking. As better rubber ducking, but that's about it. The human validation element is way too big to be very efficient in workflow. I used to feel this way, but I think LLMs have gotten a lot better. Okay, when I say LLMs, I specifically mean Claude. I don't really know if GPT and Grok have caught up. From what I've seen of Grok, it's terrible. And I've definitely seen some weird stuff from GPT-2. I think Claude is very powerful. I don't think it's infallible, don't get me wrong. I do think some amount of human validation is needed, but I think it's getting less and less every day. I also think that how you engineer your prompts is really important. There's naive prompting and there's informed prompting, and those get you very different results in my experience. I used to do a lot of naive prompting when I first got into Claude, which was maybe... Was it early March? I think it was early March that I started using Claude. And I thought Claude was very good back then, but I would be a very naive prompter. I would just tell it feature after feature that I wanted. When there was a bug, I would just tell it the bug, go fix it. And there are smarter ways to prompt. Like, I quickly found that doing things this way led to bulky projects with like a lot of bad code that even Claude couldn't figure out how to deal with once it got past a certain scale. But like, there are better ways to engineer prompts that get you better results. And I think as I vibe code more and more, I get more and more information as to what prompts work and what don't. And as I talk with other people who also vibe code, they will tell me like what prompts they use to get good results. I'll tell them what prompts I use to get good results. We'll exchange that information, and the sort of bag of heuristics grows over time. And the more of these heuristics I have, the more faith I have in Claude actually getting the job done. Sometimes I still have to step in, don't get me wrong, but I do really like the progress that I've made with LLM so far. So like this to-do list app right here, I have never looked at a single line of code in this project. I did like in a very early prototype from like several months ago, but like this version of the tool, I haven't looked at a single line of code in it, and it's very functional. There's still some features missing, but it's definitely getting the job done. How many lines of code is this right now? Let's see. Just ask Claude. I think there's like a basic command for it, clock dot or something, but I'll just have Claude do it. Yeah, ignoring known modules is good. We still have JavaScript code. So we recently did a port from JavaScript to TypeScript. I'm a little surprised it's finding JavaScript code, so I'm a bit skeptical of this. But like overall, this is it could be that this is just the old version of the code. It does seem that overall we're at about 5,000 lines roughly, and I haven't had to look at a single line of this code, and it's been getting the job done. So I think this project is definitely part of why I have a lot of faith in Claude right now. But there's going to be there's going to come a point where things will hit a certain scale and things will break down, and you will need to have some human validation at that point. I think also human validation is good for certain things like security work. Trusting Claude to make things secure is probably not the smartest thing to do. But I am definitely becoming a bigger and bigger proponent of these LLMs every day. I would say that I was extremely skeptical of LLMs as of February. So 5 months ago, I was very skeptical of LLMs. When Claude Code came out, I saw some impressive results on Reddit that made me want to try it. And then I was really bullish for a while, and then I kept using it naively, and I got a lot more bearish about it. But then Claude got a big update. It used to be on Sonnet 3.7, now it's on Opus 4, which is a much better model. And then my prompts got better. And the combination of these two, I think, have led me to have a lot more faith in it. I'd be kind of scared to be that far removed from the code. Like there's a situation that Claude can't fix, and it's way harder to get into the code to fix it. Yes and no. Claude can walk you through a code base. Claude is pretty good at doing that. And so I do think that yes, if you like are very intimately familiar with the code, you're going to have a faster time debugging than if you're not. But I also think the number of time, the amount of time you're going to have to spend interacting with the code base is so much higher that it probably doesn't balance out in favor of extensive human validation most of the time. This is an argument I have with a lot of my friends. A lot of my CS friends think I am way too bullish about Claude, and I definitely respect their opinion on that. Like Claude, it can be scary to be that far removed from the code, and there's also certain things that I will get wrong. But this is my current intuition about it. What up, PXers? We priding or what? We are absolutely priding. We're priding and we're axioming. Good to see you, King Gray. Yeah, it's definitely much better for indie stuff than team projects. I think with team projects, you care a lot more about reviewing each other's code, stuff like that. But I think when you have a small team or when it's just one person, it's pretty efficient to use Claude a lot. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? With a small team, it's efficient to use Claude a lot. And also, if you're doing multiple projects in parallel, it's really hard to do that with extensive human validation, I think. And there's just too much stuff I want to do. I think that's part of why I'm so excited about LLMs. I've spent most of my life feeling spread thin because there were so many things that I wanted to do, and I knew that I couldn't do them all at once. Like, I love making music. I love AI research. I love game dev. And those are just like projecty things. Those kind of ignore my actual life, right? Like in my actual life, I love spending time with my dog. I love cooking. I love meditating. It's important for me to do things like stay healthy, get my errands done. So there's so much stuff, right? And so for me to get all of them done, in the past, I definitely always felt like I had to put some on the back burner at every point, which I guess sounds fine, but I would always just feel this FOMO. always. Whenever I would stop doing AI research, I would see all these things like I would see Sora come out and be like, damn, I wish I was in the field right now, you know? Or when I stop doing music and like someone drops a really sick album, like shit, I really wish I could be making some music right now, right? Etc. And this is the first time in my life where I really feel like I can actually do everything I want to do. Even now I feel a little bit spread thin because it's a lot of stuff, but it's the first time in my life I really feel like doing something like this is viable. And so I really am bullish about these LLMs. Maybe partially because I have to be for what I want to do. Yeah, Humble Drum, if you ever want to talk LLMs, I'm happy to show you my setup. I think managing a lot of LLM projects at once is partially about using a good LLM. It's partially about using good prompts. It's partially about having a good hardware setup. And it's partially about having good auxiliary programs that let you handle multiple projects at once. So I can talk about those things real quick. Alright. Oh, we lost our last file? That's fine. That's fine. Here, let's... I should really get a boom for this mic, but I also just kind of like holding it, you know? It feels powerful. So one is good LM choice. I use Claude Code. There's a lot of disagreement about which of these LMs is best. So I would say don't take my word for it. Try them all out yourself. But definitely try Claude Code. Because in my experience, it's so much better than the others. It's not even funny. I use Claude so much for everything these days. Like, I don't just use it for LLM coding. I'll use the web version of desktop. Sorry, the web/desktop version of Claude for basically I've used it to replace Google at this point. I think the Google AI is really stupid. Gemini, right? I think the Google AI is really stupid, and I think Google search is maybe not quite as good as it used to be. But using Claude as a makeshift Google has been very powerful for me. But I don't just use it as a Google. I don't just use it as an LLM agent. I use it as a brainstorming device. Like sometimes I'll just like have all these thoughts in my head. I'll just vomit them all out on Claude and be like, Claude, organize these thoughts for me in a reasonable way. And then I can like read it and like understand what I'm thinking better. Recently I've started asking Claude for like art recommendations, like music recommendations, books, games, film, etc. I haven't actually acted on those yet, but I'm interested in seeing how those work out. But in general, it's been very helpful. I've been using it to explore political stuff. Like, I have a lot of these political ideas that I haven't quite gelled together into a cohesive ideology. And I've been asking Claude about various political paradigms and how they differ from each other and how they worked in practice versus theory and stuff like that. And it's just been a very, like, informative thing. Like, imagine if Google was also, like, an interactive tutor. You know? So I found Claude to be just a very huge upgrade to my life. But yeah, key to good multi-LLM performance. You feel like the bias is way too strong. Again, I think there's a naive way and a smart way to use LLMs. I don't think you can take what LLMs say at face value. I think you have to engineer your prompts in a way that forces it to consider things like how biased it is. Having it do things like display pros and cons of like different positions is good. Having it deliberately play devil's advocate against you is good, etc. Like, I think there's smart ways to use LLMs and dumb ways to use or I'm not gonna say dumb ways, naive ways to use LLMs. And the more you can understand its biases, the more you can engineer your prompts around those biases and get pretty good results, I think. And also, some of this stuff is directly testable, right? So like with the art, you know, I asked it for art recommendations. I'm going to try them out, and they're either going to be good recommendations or bad recommendations, right? And all I've lost is a bit of time trying whatever it recommended. And it's not like human recommenders have a super high success rate recommending stuff to me, so it doesn't seem worse than that from that regard, you know? I do think that the LLMs have a built-in political bias, but I also think that with the right prompts, you can get them to talk about stuff outside of their bias. There definitely are inherent biases. I won't disagree with that. You should talk to some of your boys about this stuff. I also talk to human beings. Don't get me wrong. I haven't replaced human beings with LLMs. Like, let's get that perfectly clear here. I have not replaced human beings. I have what's the word I'm looking for? not appended. Shoot, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I have just further enhanced my life with LLMs, you know? You can definitely create a bias pro-con list, but I think humans will also do that. Right. Yeah, I'm not replacing friendships with AI. I'm just using AI as like an extra source of integrated information, you know? Alright, keys to good multi-LLM performance. So we have good LLM choice, which in my mind means Claude Code. We have, what were the other things I said? I thought I said a fourth thing. Didn't I say a fourth thing? Oh, good prompts. Right. So I think these 4 categories are generally what you want to think about in getting the most out of your LLM performance if you're using a lot of LLMs at once. Some of these are less necessary if you're just doing one project at a time, but if you're doing one project at a time, you should probably be just incorporating the human element more, probably. But if you're doing a lot of stuff at once, good LLM choice is important, good prompt engineering is really important. I talked about this stuff on previous streams, but some of these things include forcing LLM to make plans before executing, having LM convert projects to specs and then reverse engineering fresh projects from those specs, telling it to revert changes when bug fixes fail, telling it to do cleanups for unused variables, functions, classes, etc. So I think all these kinds of things are very important for prompt engineering. There's like other stuff, but these are some of the things that have been most helpful for me in getting in terms of getting better performance out of these LLMs. How do you deal with context? Like on browser chat, LLMs, you can only attach X files. If it's on your PC, can you give whole code base? Correct. You can give the entire code base to the LLM if you're on your PC. Should you, or is it better at focusing only on relevant folders? It's pretty good at figuring out which files to focus on at once, but if you're running into problems, you can explicitly tell it, only look at this file. I had to do that a lot more often back when it was Claude 3.7. I would specifically tell it what files to look at. Nowadays, I don't really bother, because at least for the current project sizes I'm working on, it hasn't been necessary. I do suspect that if these projects hit a certain scale, then it will become necessary to be more explicit about what files to focus on. But for the most part, I just have it look at the whole code base. Oh, that actually reminds me, in terms of good prompt engineering, have LLM keep documentation / development journals / readmes up to date. When it does this, the LLM can use the readme information or the documentation information to figure out which files it should be looking at, and so I sometimes get better performance when I do stuff like this. And also, it's nice for the human to be able to like read the readme, you know. What do I mean by good hardware setup? I don't mean having a super fast CPU or a super fast GPU. Like all this stuff, well, the majority of the stuff is done on Anthropic servers. Not that much is done locally. What I actually mean by a good hardware setup is I guess remote desktop technically counts as a software tool, but we're going to put it in this category. We're going to put it in this category. Yes, the human. Dude, sometimes I start talking like Claude, I'm not going to lie. The human wants me to examine this file and... But yeah, for me, a good hardware setup means multiple monitors and having other devices in other places that I might want to be that have remote desktops. So what do I mean by this? So here you guys can see I have 4 monitors around me. Makes it much, much easier to manage multiple projects at once. And by other devices with remote desktop, what I mean is If I go for a walk, I want to have remote desktop on my phone to run a few commands as I go. I'm not going to get too stressed out about it. I'm not trying to get every ounce of productivity out of every moment of my life. You know, I am also trying to optimize for a low stress life. But just being able to get a few things done on the go is nice. Upstairs, I have a laptop in my kitchen, and I cook a lot, so I'll just like have remote desktop up on my laptop, and I'll get some stuff done while cooking. And it's very low key, just like get some extra stuff done, you know? It's really nice to feel like you're getting stuff done without doing basically anything. So I'm trying to optimize for that a lot. And then good auxiliary software. Fuck. Did I lose my camera? Hang on. Are we back? We're back. Okay. So where's my notepad? There we go. Other auxiliary software tools. And these are mostly tools that I've been developing with LLMs to help my own multi-LLM performance. So we have Claude DD, Cerberus, and Minflow. Claude DD I've never talked about on stream before. In fact, this is very new code that I haven't even tested myself. We're gonna do some testing today. Hopefully get this thing done. I'll talk about it soon. Minflow is this to-do list app that I use to handle multiple projects at once. I think it's really, really helpful for maximizing my executive function. Because when you have a lot of different LLMs running with a lot of different projects, and you're essentially playing the role of manager for all of these projects, right? So you have to be able to quickly switch context between these things, and without having this stuff written down in like a very visual, easily readable way for me, I just get lost, you know? Like, it takes me a while to switch from project to project, and so this thing has helped a lot in that regard. And then Cerberus, I'm hoping to also get done either today or very, very soon. And Cerberus, let me show you guys Cerberus. I've shown Cerberus to some extent before. There's some new features that I like. But yeah, let's quickly go over Cerberus. God, I love this song. Okay, let's bring up the help menu. I should probably make Cerberus make this text bigger so you guys can read it on stream, right? That's probably something I should do. Can you guys read this? Here, let me do something genius. 1 second. What do you mean I can't window capture in OBS? What the heck? Okay, wait, let me try. Hang on, guys. I got this. Don't worry about it. I got this. I got this, guys. Okay, I don't want window capture. What do I want instead? Application capture? No, that's application audio capture. How do I do this? Can I game capture it? Will that work? Did it work? It claimed to work, but like I don't see it anywhere. Okay. I got a better idea. Which monitor are we on? Is this monitor 4? Yeah, that's monitor 4, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this and duplicate it. What do you mean I can't duplicate it? Are you kidding me? Okay, can I paste a reference to it? Okay, so okay, can you guys read that? Is that readable? Rutho1, I would recommend a different approach to advertising your services, but good luck to you, homie. Oh, I can't actually move this. Shoot. Oops. Alright, so let's talk about how Cerberus works. So you probably can see in the lower right corner of each of my monitors, there's a number in like a cyan box. You can see it says 1 in the lower right corner, and you can see in the lower left corner it says Minflow app. So here's the idea. Imagine you have a workspace where each of your windows is assigned to a workspace, and you can have multiple windows in a workspace. So right now on workspace 1, I have both the Cerberus instructions and this Minflow app. Okay. Each workspace is one monitor, and how do I want to put this? So you guys know virtual desktops, right? With a virtual desktop, you basically have a fresh desktop to use where you can open apps willy-nilly. But the problem with Windows virtual desktops is that they apply to all of your monitors at once. So if I have 4 monitors, one virtual desktop is 4 monitors wide, and that's not what I want. I want each of my monitors to be its own workspace. So that's what Cerberus does. So each of my monitors is one workspace. So here I have workspace 1 that has both the Cerberus instructions window and the Minflow app. And I can have up to 20 different workspaces. Only 4 are shown at once because I have 4 monitors. Depends on how many monitors you have, obviously. Now, if I want to quickly switch to another workspace, it's just one hotkey away. So let's say I want to switch over to my Cerberus workspace, which is currently on workspace 12. Okay, I'm going to do Control-Alt-2 based on the instructions here. And as you can see, we switched over, and we just have Cerberus up here now. And you can see that workspace 1 is over here on my other monitor. You can see at the bottom middle monitor, I guess, I've got workspace 1 loaded. And so I can just swap all the windows on these 2 monitors very easily. So if I switch them back, bam, we're back. And then it also supports hidden workspaces, right? Because like I said, it can support up to 20. Right now, I only have 4 up because I have 4 monitors. So let's say I want to get the Minflow up, right? Let's go to Control-Alt-3 for workspace 13. It just minimizes all those windows, but it remembers that they're associated with workspace 1, and it brings up my Minflow terminal. And so that's... Oh, let me hide this again. Boom. Boom. Right? So this is how Cerberus works in a nutshell. Each of your monitors, or each of your workspaces is one monitor wide. You can assign any windows to any of your workspaces. You have 20 different workspaces. You can swap up between them at will. And so what I like to do is I like to have each of my coding projects on a different workspace. I have like 11 through 20 dedicated to just coding projects. Not all of them are filled out right now, but if I have... Man, I need a moderator for this kick self-marketer we have here. Whatever. You can mark it. I don't care. So, yeah, each of your windows... So, I like to have each of my LLM projects on one workspace so that I can switch between them easily. So if let's say I'm working on 2 projects at once. I'm working on both Cerberus and Minflow, right? Then I'm going to type in some prompt here, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to hit enter, but let's say for the sake of argument, I hit enter, have Claude go and do something, right? Then I can just switch to Cerberus and be like, okay, well, it's time for me to work on Cerberus now. And enter my prompt here, blah, 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 blah. Hit enter. And then maybe I want to go work on some other project. I switch to that workspace and type in my prompt or whatever. And so being able to switch between these workspaces efficiently, while also being able to look at Minflow and see what's the next step I have to do on each of these projects, really speeds me up a lot. I'm going to backspace all this text before it actually submits these prompts. But in a nutshell, this is how Cerberus works. Now, there are some other nice functions that Cerberus has to sort of make this process easier. So, you can see... Here, let's get this back. So let's say you don't want to look at these overlays, right? Like I have this name in the lower left, and I have this number in the lower right, and maybe it's getting in the way. Maybe you don't want it, right? Alt-Shift-O. It's gone. It's gone. It still has the workspace information in memory, but like the overlay is gone if you don't want it there. I usually like having it up unless I'm playing games. I usually put it away when I'm playing games, but usually I like having it up. If you want to quickly see where all your windows are in each workspace, Alt-Shift-W. Bam! Look at that. Look at that. There we go. Now you guys can see it. So now I can just look at all my workspaces and see where every window is assigned. And there's even a few unassigned windows that I could take a look at down here, right? So that's useful. Let's bring back the help again. Alt-Shift-H brings back help. Tiling is another useful feature. So let me show you guys something. Let's switch over to workspace 6, which is where I have record box and title. Oh, I switched to the wrong one. Here, let's do that, and then let's do that. Alright, so you guys see that I have both record box and title up on this monitor, right? Well, what if I want to tile them, essentially? Something people want a lot when they have multiple windows in one workspace is to be able to see all of them very clearly without them overlapping. And especially if you're not immediately sure which windows you have in your workspace, maybe some are on top of each other, being able to tile them quickly lets you look at them and know immediately what's going on. So Alt-Shift-T. Bam, look at that. It just automatically tiled them for me. Very convenient. What else do we got in terms of Cerberus features? We have help. Alt-Shift-R refreshes things. I have this feature because whenever you unplug a monitor, it kind of screws things up a bit. Cerberus kind of loses track of like which monitor is where. But if you do Alt-Shift-R, then it'll do a rescan of everything and get the number of monitors up to date and put the overlays where they belong and make sure your workspaces are loaded correctly. So we have a little refresh function there. In addition to being able to switch to any given workspace, you can also go up and down through workspaces. So if you just want to go to the next workspace, for example, like let's say I'm at 6, I just want to go over to 7, then I can just do Alt up arrow. And now I'm in workspace 7. Alt down brings me back to workspace 6. Really easy. And if I want to send a window to the next workspace, then I can do Alt Shift up. So let's say I want to send title to workspace 7, Alt Shift up, and then we can go check if that's where it went, and bam, that's where it went. Thought about a UI. I've had some people suggest certain UI things to me. I maybe have trouble understanding, or maybe have trouble visualizing how exactly it would look for an app like this. Because I think for workflow purposes, hotkeys are usually easier to work with. But if you have thoughts about like how a UI could look, I'm definitely open to them. And this project will be open source when I release it. So if anyone else wants to contribute and help with UI stuff, I'm definitely open to that. I think the majority of functions, though, you don't actually need. The main things you need are just Alt number and Control Alt number to switch between workspaces. And if you have those, then you have the core functionality of Cerberus just at your fingertips. I feel like you just need both hotkey for faster, but buttons to get into it to see the advantage. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I don't know how buttons work with auto hotkey, which is what Cerberus is programmed in. I guess what you can have is like you can have a menu for Cerberus, right? And you can do stuff in here. Or maybe you can have a dialog box that has all the buttons you need. I would have to think about the specifics, but if you have like a specific thing in mind, then you know, I'm open to hearing it. So the last thing that I want to show is that you can name these workspaces like you can see in the lower left. So let's say I want to name this to maybe just music apps or something. Alt-Shift-N lets me just assign a name. Boom, and now I have that name in the lower left corner. I'm going to switch it back to Rekordbox because I like that for this desktop, but just as an example. So Cerberus has all these functions. Once you learn the hotkeys, really, really efficient for switching between a whole bunch of different tasks. So that's why I like using it. Let's go back to Notepad here, which is basically unassigned. So yeah, MinFlow for managing what your to-dos are. Cerberus for actually switching between your projects efficiently if you have multiple monitors. Then we have Claude DD, which I have not used at all. This is a new project for me. But we'll talk about this soon. I'm hoping to get this tested and finished, hopefully by end of stream, but we'll see. I was just thinking menu instead of the help window. So it says hotkey, but also... So it says hotkey, but also UI button that does the same. So you're thinking like here, just have an extra button for each of these? That could work. That could work. I could see that. And I guess for things like switching to a certain workspace, you can like have a number, and then like you type the number, then you hit go or something. I could see that. Also the option to rebind hotkey. Yeah, that could be cool. I would be down. I think I want to get this released soon, but I think those things would be very good for a V2. And if anyone in chat wants to, you know, help like develop some of these features, I'm totally down. I think UI stuff could be a very good idea for making it more accessible, and rebinding hotkeys is definitely always nice. All right, what's Claude DD? let's talk about Claude DD. So Claude DD is something I started working on very recently. And by working on is a really strong way to put it. It's like a very, very simple piece of scripting. And I put it together in one day with Claude, but I haven't tested it yet. Basically, Claude has something called... So when you're just running Claude, right? The normal command is you just type Claude. But what I like to do is use a flag called Claude dangerously skip permissions. Claude, by default, will ask you over and over every time it wants to do things like write a new file, edit a file, move files around in the file directory, stuff like that. And that is definitely not good for progress if you have to keep hitting enter for all of these things. I just want to tell Claude to do something and have it go. So there's this flag called dangerously skip permissions. It's built into Claude. When I say I use it, it's a lot of people use it. It's just a flag built into Claude. It's very good. But as the name suggests, it can be dangerous. It can do things like delete all the files in your computer if the LLM happens to go haywire. That hasn't happened to me yet, but it could happen, and that's a concern. And so Claude DD is... The first D stands for dangerously, and the second D stands for Docker. Basically, this is a script I wrote that will automatically launch Claude within a Docker container based on some Docker image you have. And I'm hoping that this will compartmentalize or containerize things enough to where if Claude does go haywire, it's not going to fuck up your whole system. It'll, at worst, just fuck up the directory you're working on. I need to test this, like I said, but I will definitely start using it if it works. Is there an option to have like a different branch, similar to Git? So say Claude writes files, human tested, then merges into the main project. Claude interacts directly with GitHub. Well, that's a weird way to put it. Claude can use all the Git commands. So like it's doing the commission, it does all the committing and pushing for me. It can fork branches. It can try to merge things. Sometimes I've had bad results with it merging things unless I'm very explicit about how I want it to merge. But like it's capable of running any Git command. It's capable of running any bash command, actually. So the answer to your question is basically yes. You just have branches in the Git repo itself, and Claude can like work with that, as long as you're explicit enough. So that's probably what I'll do when I release this. I'll fork like a new branch for working on UI stuff, and we can have people contribute to that branch, and then we can merge things in as needed. Oh my god, we're already at the end of the album? That's crazy. I love this album so much. I think more EDM artists should do albums that are structured as DJ mixes. I think that's a very cool concept. Was thinking more the actual files on your PC, so create second folder where it can do stuff dangerously and then merge. Sometimes I'll manually do that. I do have a few like extra folders where I've had to do things like scratch work or like develop things pretty differently. In principle, you can tell it, use this subdirectory for main work and use this subdirectory for scratch work. Usually it will get it right, but if you don't trust it, you can just do it manually. But Git also just kind of intrinsically supports this, right? So like if you switch branches on your local Git, like forget GitHub for a second. If you switch branches on your local Git, it will switch like which version of the code it's working on, while keeping all the old versions saved. Because Git, when you just use like Git locally, it saves a snapshot of every branch you've worked on. So I do think that Git is probably the cleanest way to do it, but if I'm feeling concerned about like something destructive happening, I'll just manually make a new folder. So yeah, if you want to maximize your LLM output, I definitely suggest doing these 4 things. I think they go a long way. Also, this is the only album I've ever heard with the credits track, which is pretty funny. Alright, what album do we want to listen to next? I want to listen to like some deep dubstep or something. Let's put on Quest for Fire. I'm in a Skrilla mood, which is not shocking. I'm like often in a Skrilla mood. So I guess there is a 5th thing, but the reason I didn't type it initially is because I personally have not made a lot of progress on this yet, but I want to. So what's the fifth thing? The fifth thing is LLM wrappers. What do I mean by that? I mean, these are programs that make use of the existing LLM technology somehow, but they implement extra functionality on top of it in some way to improve the workflow process, right? It could be a matter of automatically engineering prompts better in some way. It could be a matter of launching multiple LLMs that communicate with each other in some way. It could be a tool that automatically sends crash reports to an LLM and has the LLMs just working on them right away without human intervention. Any of these things would count. This is definitely something I'm very interested in. There are some existing tools, right? There are existing IDEs that are used for vibe coding. Things like Cursor, for example. There are others that I don't remember the names off offhand. I think Kuro is one of them that I looked at recently. Like the Think Longer button on ChatGPT. Yeah, very similar to that. Claude actually has something like that. I think I can show you. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Claude has something called a prompt improver. Well, actually, okay, I'm not 100% sure what Think Longer does. You can explicitly tell Claude to think longer if literally all you want is for it to think longer. But you can also do things like have Claude improve the prompt to be more detailed before it works on the thing itself. Yes, I'm talking about agentic AI stuff. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't want to say directly agentic AI because Claude Code is already agentic AI. I meant like, so I was including like potential wrappers around that. But yeah, I do mean agentic AI, fundamentally. Jules is another good example of agentic AI, you know? Let me see here. I'm just trying to... Give me 1 second. Is it built into the Claude desktop app, this improver? Let me see. Okay, I might have to open it in a Firefox. Let's see here. I'll bring the screens back in just a second, folks. Where is the improver? I know I've... Let me just Google for it. Claude prompt improver. Use our prompt improver to improve your prompts. Genius. Well, where's the link to the prompt improver? What the heck? Am I stupid? What? Oh, maybe it's here. Is it under search and tools? Did they get rid of this? No way they got rid of this, right? This was such a cool tool. I'm having trouble finding it right now. Here, let me just show you guys what I'm looking at. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Wait, why did it respond? Wait. Why did the VTuber not respond to my goddamn voice? It should have responded to my voice. Whatever. So, this is the thing I'm talking about. I apparently have lost the actual URL to it. There should be a link somewhere on this page. I guess I'm just being dense. But Anthropic used to have this tool where you give it a prompt and it gives you back a better version of the prompt, which is like a lot more detail, a lot more direct planning involved. And then you can give that improved prompt and give it to Claude. I don't know if ChatGPT has an analogous thing. It sounds like the Think Longer button does literally just think longer. And you can tell Claude to like take more time to think about things and it will listen to you. Claude responds to a certain phrase called think deeply, where it'll, as the name implies, think more deeply. It's not a button, it's just like something you put in the text itself. I often told it to think deeply, because I'm a big fan of deep thought, you know? I am working on something called MetaClaude, which is sort of my version of an agentic AI. And then there's something that I want to work on later called Claude Colony that I haven't worked on yet. And I'll tell you what my sort of idea for both these things are. MetaCloud is purely workflow stuff. I mean, I can actually show you guys MetaCloud right now. Let's do that. Also, this song is awesome. I'm gonna open Claude first just to make sure I'm logged into it, because MetaCloud has some UI issues right now. I'll get into it in a second. But okay, we're logged in. That's good. Get to the right VNV. Okay, it should be launching MetaCloud. Okay, there we go. There we go. So MetaCloud is a multi-pane TMUX application where the first pane is your Claude, it's your LLM, and then the remaining panes, by default just one, but it depends on your project, the remaining panes are whatever your actual project processes are. So for most projects, it's just going to be like one main process. For certain things, it might be different. Like, for example, the game engine I'm working on, the Versus game engine, it's a server-based multiplayer game engine. So it launches both the server and 2 clients and ends up launching like 3 extra panes instead of just 1 extra pane, right? So this lets me look at both things at once. But much more interestingly than that, check this out. Okay, check this out. So the main feature that MetaCloud has that I like a lot, so this right here is a dummy process. By default, the default process that it shows you is this dummy process, but it'll replace this process automatically with whatever your project is as you develop the project. But here's what this dummy process does. It simply crashes if you type 1. If you type anything else, nothing happens. Let's say you type 0, it just says you typed 0. But if you type 1, it crashes the program, and let me show you what happens when you crash the program. It automatically sends the crash report to Claude, and Claude just starts working on it. Obviously, it's not going to do anything here because it clearly says dummy error, don't do anything. But in theory, if it was an actual error, it would do something about it. So now, once it's finished, it's going to automatically bring back our original process. Watch this. Decided to take the long way for this error, but alright, so now it's going to bring back our original process. There we go. Check that out. All automatic. The crash reporting was automatic, and bringing back the program was automatic. The crash reporting is done by just always checking for when these programs crash based on, I think exit code logs is how I set it up. This was a while ago. And then the response monitoring is, it takes snapshots of the Claude output and looks for certain key messages that are indicative of whether Claude is still running or not. And based on that, it detects whether there's a response and brings back the process. Are those VS Code extensions or all separate software? This is a terminal. And I'm running... I'm trying to figure out how to answer your question. This is not VS Code. This is all done in terminal. And the different panes you see are panes of a TMUX. Do you know what TMUX is? TMUX is a... TMUX basically lets you run programs in a detached way, and it has some nice UI features like being able to run multiple panes in one TMUX session. And so basically, this is a multi-pane thing generated with TMUX. Yeah, I meant just like setup. I do use VS Code when I want to look at the code myself, but most of the time I don't enter the code myself, so I'm just doing everything in terminal. I just have Claude do stuff. We use TMUX for... Oh, right, of course you use TMUX for the bot, right. There's a VS Code extension for Gemini, which I tried and was really unimpressed by. I don't know if there's one for Claude yet. Maybe there is. So the way Claude is set up, so Claude has APIs, And then there's the Claude Code software, which is just an agentic piece of software that uses those APIs. But in theory, you can build other agents that use those same APIs. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Claude extension based on the underlying APIs that's like distinct from Claude Code, you know? But I don't know offhand if that's the case or not. I only use VS Code for reading code and like doing small edits. I used to use I've used other IDEs in the past, but the reason I use VS Code is because VS Code interacts very naturally with WSL. Oh, that's one thing I should note. Claude Code doesn't work on Windows. It does work on WSL, but it doesn't work on Windows directly. So you do have to use WSL, and that's why VS Code is really nice for working with these projects, because VS Code is just, it's already set up to work with WSL. I think you have to download the WSL extension, but that's it. So yeah, this is MetaCloud. This was a big project of mine for a while. I kind of got stymied a bit with the UI because this is using both Tmux and Screen to deploy these processes. And Screen has some UI filtering stuff that is a huge headache. So I want to replace the Screen usage with some other tool that is a less of a huge UI headache. Here's what I mean by UI headache. If I'm typing stuff, you're supposed to be able to press escape to like clear the string and go back to the beginning. Escape key gets eaten. Watch this. See, it says filter running. So it fucking no. Don't submit that. Don't submit that. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. It doesn't handle certain kinds of inputs well. It doesn't handle escape key. It doesn't handle control V if I want to paste things, or at least it's really janky about it. It doesn't handle scrolling. All these are huge problems. They're really bad problems for like actually getting stuff done. And so I want to fix those, and it's been kind of a headache to fix those, so I haven't done it yet. But once I do, hopefully we can get MetaCloud released as well. I had mentioned something called Claude Colony as well. This is something I want to work on. The idea with Claude Colony is that I guess I have some notion that if you have multiple LLMs that interact with each other, each of which that takes a different role. As a really simple example, you could think in terms of an engineer Claude and a code reviewer Claude, right? That like work together. Or you can think of like a planning Claude and maybe maybe like just a development Claude, stuff like that. If you have different Claudes that take on different personas and work with each other to work on a project, perhaps you could get superior performance. Perhaps. We don't know yet. And it's not that I want to set up one single colony that works. What I want to do is set up a system that self-improves in some way. And so what do I mean by self-improving? Or how would we set up a self-improving architecture? Well, in some way we wanted to sort of invoke the scientific method. We wanted to have some set of experiments that it should run to keep track of each colony's performance and see how it's doing, and then evolve the colony to be better and better colonies over time. That's sort of the idea here. It is very nascent project. I don't have like any progress on this project right now besides the basic idea. I wanted to get MetaCloud done first because Claude Colony was going to be built on top of that. So that's why I didn't have Section 5 initially when I wrote this up, but I do think this will also be key to good multi-LLM performance down the line. Yeah, so these are my thoughts on multi-LLM performance. So with that said, let's go work on ClaudeDD. So like I said, ClaudeDD is a piece of software that is designed to very transparently run your Claude instance in a Docker container so that the amount of damage it can do is minimized. In principle, really simple. I just got to test it to see if it works. And also, I think the README is kind of shit, so I was hoping to fix up the README a bit before releasing it. So this is what we have. So we have a Docker file that's just going to be our baseline Docker image. It just has a bunch of the basic stuff you need, as well as Claude Code itself. So it sets up an npm with like all the basic libraries you want, as well as Claude Code. Really simple Docker image. The more interesting part is this sh script. So what this does when you run it in a given directory, it does multiple things. First, it checks whether you've built the image from the image file. If you haven't built the image, it builds the image. Or if the image file has changed and the built image you have is out of date, like maybe we decide that we need some other library in our Docker file or some other like piece of software in our Docker file, right? Then we need to update the image. So this in theory automatically detects if the image you have is out of date and rebuilds the image in that case. Then what it does is it builds the Docker container, assuming it needs to be built. Maybe it's already built and maybe it's already on the right image. But if any of those things are false, then it builds a new Docker container for the directory you're in, and then it runs Claude inside the Docker container. All really simple stuff, right? But like to be able to do it all in one command is pretty nice, I think. So that's why I have this set up the way it is. Alright, so now I gotta like move stuff to the right place. We have this README that is pretty good for the first half. But then it's got some stuff down here that I don't really understand. But let's go ahead and set this stuff up. I guess the easiest thing to do is just to like clone this. How do I want to do this? Let's go to workspace 11, I guess. Oh, do I have nothing on workspace 11 right now? Okay, that works. Yeah, this Cloud product directory is where I have all my stuff. So we're gonna make a new dir for this. Claude DD. One of my toxic traits is that I don't really know how to use Git, so I just have Claude do everything for me. Someday I'll learn how to use Git. Today is not that day. Maybe we can do it on stream at some point. I have very little Git experience overall. I've definitely been historically more of a research guy than a product guy, and definitely more of an independent worker than a team worker. And so I have very little Git experience overall. So I just have Claude do everything for me. I don't really give a shit. But also because we're setting this up, it's going to have all of this in its context, which means as we update the README, it's going to be able to deal with this. I was thrown into cold Git waters during my internship. It was a lot, but I'm decent. Nah, I dig that, dude. I kind of get the impression that, like, Git is annoying if you're just, like, being told, like, do this command now, and you're trying to, like, fit these puzzle pieces together in your head, versus if you actually just learn the base principles. I never really learned the core principles of Git, so I think if I do that at some point, I'll understand everything much better. That's kind of what I did with Docker for this, because I didn't understand Docker at all until pretty recently. I had no Docker experience. But I kind of had this conversation with Claude where it explained things to me. Claude is a brilliant teacher. Claude is amazing as an educator because it both compiles the information that exists in whatever tutorials exist around the internet, and also acts as an interactive tutor if you're confused about stuff. Like, I'll ask it specific questions about, I'm confused about XYZ. You said ABC, but that doesn't make sense with DEF, which is what I thought. And it'll explain like what I'm getting wrong, etc., etc. And so Claude has been really useful for me for just like learning things. Once you understand enough to write alias commands to just integrate into workflow, it feels amazing, dude. I bet. I bet. Oh, dude, look at this shit. It just automatically did all the fucking shit that was in the quick start. It made the Claude Docker file and moved the Docker file to Claude Docker for me. It explored the path and... Dude, this is so cool. That's so sick. I didn't ask it to do any of that shit, but it just did it for me. Okay, well, let's see if it works, I guess. And if it doesn't work, we'll have to do some debugging, which is what I'm expecting most of the stream to be. I don't really expect it to work right off the bat, but we'll see. I have Docker Desktop open already. You need That's one thing, guys. If you're gonna use Claude DD or any kind of Docker on WSL, you do need Docker Desktop on Windows. Because Docker naturally works with like most Linux distros, but if you're on WSL, you do need this extra Windows application. Claude DD command not found. Oh, because I'm probably in the same environment, right? So let's go ahead and try here. Command not found. Okay, so something's wrong. Did it not copy it to the right place? Let's take a look there. Mkdir slash dot local. Shouldn't it be just slash local? I thought it was just slash local. I thought it was just slash local. Here, let's do something real quick. This isn't quite what I remembered. I thought you just put it directly in slash local bin. Let me take a look at what my Claude repo said. Where is this Claude? I have so many random fucking Claude conversations. Where did I put this thing? Is it here? Okay, let me do a search through my chats. What? Don't... This is crazy. How did I lose this? All chats. Let's see. It was after my tomato sauce recipe that I asked it for. No, it's not. It's not Grok. Safe VM coding with Claude. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, let's see here. I thought it told me that I should just put it directly in local bin. No, this is in fact what it told me. Okay. Well, we can just go ahead and ask Claude. Hey, Claude, what's the deal? And hopefully we'll figure some shit out. Here, let's do something real quick. Let's just make sure that this runs directly from the place that it should have copied it to. Okay, it is building the image. That's a good sign. It's doing some updating and installing. That's a good sign. Oh god. I was on the wrong screen. There we go. Okay, now you guys can see things, right? Sorry, I actually just updated my hotkeys on OBS because I had my scenes in a different order before. So I should be on the right scene now, right? All right, so while this runs, we can go ahead and take a look at that README again. Yeah, so I had some concerns about this README. You guys can see at the bottom here, which is pretty small. So. All right, let's take a look at this README. Just 3 files, and the third one has the wrong name. So right away we have a little issue with this README here. Okay, so we have make it executable, which it is executable because we're getting it right now. Export path. I guess this is the part that's broken right now, given that it is running. Create the Docker file location. Okay, did that. That's correct. Daily usage. Go to whatever the fuck directory you want, run clawdd, that's it. Okay, that's exactly what we want, right? That's that easy. I want it to be as easy to run this as it is to run normal Claude. Actually, I want it to be easier. Typing out Claude dangerously skip permissions every time is a pain in the ass. clawdd, nice and short. Multiple projects, you just do it in multiple directories. Easy. Okay, great. Custom Docker files, you can send an argument to clawdd with a different kind of file. Perfect, great. Container management. You can list all containers, you can stop a container, you can remove a container, you can remove all containers. These are just basic Docker commands. Not super relevant to this purpose, but it's good to have in the README regardless. If you modify a Docker file, clawdd automatically rebuilds. Perfect. Okay. Oh, then I guess everything here is actually fine. I guess everything here is actually pretty much what we want. Tips. Your files are safe. They're in your normal directories, just mounted into containers. Containers persist. On WSL2, keep projects in the Linux file system, not Mount C. All of my shit is in Mount C right now. That's probably slowing me down a bit. I should move things to WSL. It's just so convenient to have them in Mount C, because I can just like double click them when I'm in Windows and not really worry about it. But they're right. I should definitely move this to Linux file system. Troubleshooting. The first run takes time to build the image. That's fine. If the container name is already in use, then the script will start automatically. I wouldn't really call this troubleshooting. More like FYI, I guess. Okay, there's a force rebuild Docker command. Okay, great. I don't know what I was confused by earlier. This all seems perfectly fine. This all seems good, actually. Okay, so maybe I don't have an issue with this README, except for it saying quick start MD at the top. We can go ahead and fix that real quick. All right, how's our thing going? You guys can see it still working at the bottom right. It's taken a while to build this image. I'm not gonna lie, it's taken a while to build this image, but it should be a one-time cost. So I'm not too concerned about it taking a while to build this image. All right, so let's take a look at the Cerberus README in the meantime. Frontline never gonna run back. Got mine ready for the combat. Me against them when I'm on that. Somebody should have beg pardon. Cause none of my soldiers are on that. Diplomat speak different jargon. But money talks louder, we got that. Pull up on your foot for the convo. Any loose chat, yeah, we lock that. So we gotta get back to basics. Keep stepping on them like a doormat. Pull up on your foot for the convo. Any loose chat, yeah, we lock that. So we gotta get back to basics. Keep stepping on them like a doormat. Pull up on your block like basics. Going through this README is gonna be important because I want to release this pretty soon. I pretty much went through all the features just now as we talked about it, so it's all kind of fresh in my mind. So let's take a look. Cerberus is a powerful workspace management tool for Windows that brings Linux-style virtual workspaces to multi-monitor setups. Written AutoHotkey v2, it allows you to organize Windows across multiple workspaces and quickly switch between them. It's a good summary. Features: 20 virtual workspaces, multi-monitor support, each monitor display a different workspace, Workspace persistence. Oh yeah, guys, that's a feature I forgot to mention. If you close Cerberus, it retains a save file with all the window handles and all of their associated workspaces. So if you open up Cerberus again and you still have all the same windows open, it will bring back the workspaces you have. It'll reassign the windows to the right workspaces. It does persist if you close Cerberus. Obviously, if you close a window or you open a new window, that stuff's not going to get captured. But anything it remembers from the previous run of Cerberus it will save and load. Visual indicators, customizable overlays. I don't know why it says customizable. Oh, the name is customizable. Okay, fine. I would change that word personally, but you know, that's a minor detail. It's a minor tweak. Does Cerberus work well with reboot as well? Then yes, I've rebooted. Well, to an extent. I mean, when you reboot your computer, all your shit's closed, right? So like, you have to open up all your windows first. I believe it looks for both window handle match and window name match. So if the handles don't match, but it does see a name match, it'll still reassign it. But that part is not going to be as accurate as just the window handle match. You know, you shouldn't expect it to be as accurate. But it works pretty good with reboot. So, if I'm opening, like Discord and Firefox and Rekordbox and like those applications, then like those things tend to get assigned to the right workspaces. But when I have like Cerberus, or when I have like new Windows terminals that have... So one thing you may notice about Cerberus... Not Cerberus, fuck. One thing you may notice about Claude is that it keeps changing what the title of the window is based on what it's doing. And so trying to launch... If you're bringing back your Claude instances, it's not going to be able to assign them correctly. Because it's going to be new window handles, new titles. But a lot of stuff it does get right on reboot. What else do we got? Window tiling, built-in tiling functionality. Correct. Named workspaces, assign custom names to workspaces for better organization. It also automatically assigns names when you switch things to a workspace for the first time. Or when you use a workspace for the first time. Unused workspace navigation. Quickly jump to empty workspaces. That's the Alt arrow, Alt Shift arrow. And then Z order preservation. I don't know why I'd put this as its own feature, but whatever, that's fine. Basically, it remembers the order in which you've stacked your windows in each workspace too. Which I think that's kind of just implied with what you would expect from like a workspace manager. Requirements: Windows 10, AutoHotkey 2, admin privileges. Yeah, you do need to run this as admin. If you have certain Windows servers cannot move if you don't run it as admin, so that's important. Install. This install is bad. We need to change this because I do just want to put the exe in the releases section of the GitHub. So this installation section needs to change. It should just be an exe. Keyboard shortcuts, and this is basically everything that I showed you guys in Alt-Shift-H. This Alt-Shift-S is out of date. I mean, you can use it. Here's the thing. It automatically saves your workspace state every time you do anything, or anytime you use a Cerberus operation. So you shouldn't need to manually save. But I guess it's good as a just-in-case thing. Maybe your computer crashes, right, before it can like do an automatic save. And then maybe being able to do a manual save is good. I don't know. I don't even know if we need this. It's there, though. Configuration. There's a bunch of settings in the script itself that you can change. I don't know if we want to have this in the README, though, because I want the README to be associated with the exe, you know? So, probably, maybe either get rid of this section or, somehow put in the configuration section. I don't think we have a debug menu, right? I don't think I implemented that. Yeah, I don't have a... What's help? Oh, this is just AutoHotkey help. Yeah. So I don't really have a way of, like, directly modifying these from the application itself. So I think I might just get rid of this section in the README. This stuff should be in the comments of the code anyway. File locations, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, file locations is fine. How it works. How it works should probably be higher up, right? That would probably make sense. How are we doing over here? Oh, shit! Oh, shit! It ran Claude! Oh, shit! Let's go! It fucking almost worked, but then it didn't! Okay, dangerously skip permissions cannot be used with sudo privileges for security reasons. Okay, I guess that makes sense. If you were able to sudo dangerously do stuff, that would be bad. So, okay, we have to modify the script to not use sudo, but I thought it's not using sudo right now, is it? You see why I like this monitor swapping technology? You see that, guys? I love that shit. So much easier than dragging windows around. So much easier than having all your windows on one monitor. Okay, so it's running docker exec -it container cloud danger. It's not running sudo directly here. It's not running sudo directly here. So why is this happening? Wait, why am I thinking about this? I'll just ask Claude. Okay, before we ask Claude, let me just make sure that this whole thing I did is repeatable. So it should have built the image, which means that the second time we run it, it shouldn't like have all these issues. Or not these issues, but it shouldn't have all the startup time. So let's go ahead and try that real quick just to make sure. Okay, great. So it skipped the whole startup process and went right into the same error message. Great. Okay, let's have a conversation with Claude about this. Let me go ahead and copy this message. Alright. Now you guys get to see how I like to engineer my prompts. Don't edit any code. One of my favorite things to tell Claude to do. Don't edit code. Look for answers without actually modifying the code itself. I think Claude does so much better when you tell it to do that because it stores its own plans in its context, plus you get a chance to validate its plans before it does anything. Because sometimes it spews shit, and you have to tell if it's gonna spew if it's spewing shit, you know? Don't edit any code. Alright, got it. Blah. Blah. There we go. Got my mic. Don't edit any code. Right now, we get this error with... Or actually, here. Don't edit any code. It seems that the image gets successfully built and the container gets successfully created. However, the main command, the last line of Claude dd.sh presumably, returns this error. This is confusing to me because I don't see sudo usage on that line. Don't edit the code. I tell it twice sometimes because I really do not want it to fucking edit the code. Don't edit the code. Analyze and diagnose the issue. Alright, so now it's going to go off and do that. While it does that, we can go back here. Keep reading the Cerberus README. Okay, how it works. The active monitor is determined by your mouse cursor position. Correct. So you guys see this, like, how when I move my mouse, the highlighted monitor changes? That's how you know what your active monitor is. This is the monitor that will be affected when you switch workspaces, or when you do things like naming workspaces. When Cerberus starts, it assigns sequential workspaces to each monitor. Oh, it's already done. Okay, we'll finish this section real quick. When Cerberus starts, it assigns sequential workspaces to each monitor, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, etc. Windows on each monitor are automatically assigned to that workspace. So this is if you have no save file whatsoever. It should probably explicitly say that. Unassigned windows default to workspace 0, which is just it's a null workspace. It basically means unassigned in our context. Which means that this should like include that as an extra note. We'll do some editing here in a second. Window memory. Cerberus remembers window positions and sizes relative to monitor dimensions. And Z-order. It should also say Z-order there. When switching workspaces, windows are minimized, restored automatically. Window positions are preserved even when moving between monitors of different sizes. Workspace naming. Workspaces can be named for easier ID. When sending a window to an unused workspace, it's automatically named after the program. Names appear in the lower left corner overlay. Okay, all that's good. Tips. Quick organization. Use Alt-Shift-Up down to quickly send windows to new workspaces. Monitor focus. Move your mouse to a monitor before switching its workspace. Okay. Persistence. Workspace layouts are automatically saved and restored between sessions. Tiling. Use Alt-Shift-T. Okay, all that's fine. I don't know if we really need its own tip section, but I guess that's fine. Troubleshooting. Windows not switching. Run as administrator for better capabilities. Overlays not showing. Use the overlay show. Lost windows. Use Alt-Shift-W to look for them. Monitor changes. Use Alt-Shift-R to refresh. Okay. License. Open source. Great. Wonderful. Cool. So the README is mostly in place. This is completely written by Claude, by the way. It did a pretty good job. There's a few things I want to tweak, so we'll tweak those. Let's go back to Workspace 11 here. I can see the issue. The error occurs when Docker exec runs a command inside the container. It runs as root by default, since the Docker file doesn't specify a non-root user. Claude Code detects that it's being run as root and refuses to use... Okay, that part's fine. Diagnosis. Dockerfile creates an Ubuntu container that runs everything as root. The solution would involve either creating a non-root user in the Dockerfile and switching to it, using Docker exec with -u. Pros and cons of the first two solution suggestions. I think probably we want the Docker file to just be non-root though, right? We don't want to like have an admin Docker file and then like run non-admin versions of it. That seems kind of weird. Pros of solution 1, clean permanent solution. Follows Docker best practices. I mean, if it follows best practices, that's a good sign. More secure overall. No need to remember user flags. Cons, requires rebuilding the image. Oh, because we've already built it. That's fine. Who cares? May encounter permission issues with installs in the future. Oh, that could be a problem. That could be an issue. I don't know if that's an issue or not. I guess we'll find out. I'll have it implement solution 1 first, and then we'll see. No image rebuild needed. Immediate fix. Container. Okay. Implement solution 1, then apply the steps in README to put everything in its right place.
Is anybody here with your best friend? Is anybody here with a team more than like 20? Make some noise right now!
Okay, let's go ahead and open VS Code because I want to modify the Cerberus README. Alright, let's see. Currently it's on... Oh, it opened a whole bunch of VS Codes. Oh, fuck, that's a lot of VS Codes. Let's assign these all to the right ones. So this one's versus... I guess I'll just assign it to the... Oh, right, I have Alt-Shift up arrow now. I can just do that. Okay, Alt-Shift up arrow. Why did that not work? Oh, it just took its own sweet time. Okay, that's a little slow. It shouldn't be that slow. Maybe that's worth looking into. Okay, we have a MinFlow 1 over on this screen. Let's go ahead and send it over to Workspace 13 where MinFlow is. Bro. Dude, Alt-Shift up arrow is way too slow. That is a bug. That's definitely a problem. We need to figure that out. Okay, this one we can close. We don't need that anymore. Do we have others open? Where are the others right now? Oh, my Cerberus one's over here. Let's go ahead and send this over to here. And then, oh, I have one on top of my OBS. We'll send this to 14. Why did Alt-Shift up fail? Okay, Alt-Shift up seems to have failed. That's not good. I guess it sent two different things to... It sent the verses to MinFlow. Okay, that's a bug, actually. I will have to have Cerberus fix that bug. Yo, Humbledrum, thanks for joining in. Take it easy. Okay, so we'll keep this in mind for... Let's go ahead and write this down in Cerberus. Alt plus Shift plus up unused only. And then Alt plus Shift plus up slow bug. So we're gonna have to work on both of those. Okay, but we have our Cerberus here. Alt Shift T. Bro, stop opening this. What are you doing? That is also a bug. That's very, very weird. It shouldn't do that. Oh shit! Oh shit! We got a bug. We got a crash. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go ahead and deal with this. Yeah, sometimes it seems to get the syntax wrong for AutoHotkey too. Sometimes it hallucinates the wrong commands, but when I tell it it's done that, it tends to find the right commands, so that's good. Go ahead and reload this thing. And now you guys get to see the reloading in action. Everything should show up on in its right place. Although, in the past, occasionally it's had issues with this, so we'll see if it gets this correct. Alright, my webcam software is just, it's weird. It doesn't minimize, it just closes. So, okay, our webcam is back. Everything else looks good here. So now let's go ahead and do Alt-Shift-W. Now we do close. Do Alt-Shift-T. And okay, it looks like it's actually closed for good. Sick. Alright, so that fixed that bug. Now let's look at the next bug that we had in Cerberus. Okay. Alt-Shift-Up/Down is supposed to only consider workspaces that are that have no windows. Do I also want it to be for unnamed windows only? Let's keep it this way for now. It's supposed to only consider workspaces that have no windows. It should be symmetric with Alt up down. Don't edit the code. See if this is the current behavior. It doesn't mind typos. It's very smart about typos, so I don't really care. Alright, we just listened to the song. It's now on autoplay, so let's go ahead and switch the music out. What do we want to listen to? I've had enough Skrillex for now. Oh, I like this track. I actually like this whole, I like this playlist that it's made for me. Alright, looking for that shit over there. Now let's take a look, while it's running there, let's take a look at what Workspaces 11 is doing. Done! I've successfully modified the Docker file to create and use a non-root user. Applied all the README setup steps to put files in their correct locations. Tested the setup container. What do you mean you tested it? What does that mean? Let's take a look at what it did. So where's my prompt? Okay, my prompt was here. I'll implement the solution. It updated the Docker file. It did all the, it made all the correct directories and copied stuff to the right places. Okay, it just shows a different UID. This seems a little sus, but I guess that's fine. Maybe we should... I guess that's okay for now. I won't overthink that. Good, the image built successfully. How do you know that? How do you know it built successfully? Because it's showing... What I see from you is an error. I could do Control-R to see all, but I think it's easier for me to just test this directly. But let's see what else it did. Container is now running. Now let's see if Claude runs without the root error. The container is still running as root because the base image had an issue. Let me check. The container... Why is the container named this? The container should not be named this. Oh, it's doing Claude plus the container? That's fine, actually. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. That's actually a pretty cool behavior. Okay, so it claims to have done all this correctly. Let's see if it actually did. Let's go ahead and make a new environment just in case. Okay, it's still struggling with this part. We'll get to that later. Okay, the image is already built. Okay, let's go ahead and go through this again. Stress, a little more, go on. Go on. Enter, enter. Yes, I accept. Yes! It worked! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Alright. We're in business, baby. Okay, now we just have to fix this last issue. Where it's not using the right alias. I could complain directly to this, but... Let's go ahead and just do it in our original Claude because it's got the context. It worked! Exclamation mark. Okay, next issue. Don't edit any code. It seems that right now I have to run this thing directly, and that the direct alias Claude DD doesn't work. I tried this in a fresh terminal, so the environment should be up to date. Analyze and diagnose the issue. One of my favorite phrases with LLMs. Analyze and diagnose. Alright, let's take a look at how Cerberus is doing. Based on my analysis, the current behavior is not what you described. Here's what I found. Alt up down switches to the next previous unused... Is this bold? This is so barely bold. Unused workspace. Workspace is not assigned to any monitor. No, bro. It's not... Motherfucker. That's not what unused means. Okay. Sends the active to the next previous. Also uses the same thing. Automatically names the workspace. Okay, both should use empty workspaces. I thought I'd fixed alt up in this way already. Okay. Alright. Now let's go back to workspace 11. Yo, this is the new Fred again track. It's really sick. Should have been. Okay, so the issue is clear. This shit is not in your current path, even though the export command was added to bash rc. Looking at your path, I see entries like blah, but not blah. The diagnosis path export was added to Bash RC correctly. Let's take a look at Bash RC, I guess. Oh, it's this right here, right? Home local bin. Is home correct? Oh, is that not the fucking syntax? I don't know Bash, guys. Home. Okay, home user, that's fucking correct, I think. I just really like this guy's voice. The rapper is Skepta? I should know this. Skepta, yeah. He's a grime rapper, I guess. Is it because I opened a new tab in the same terminal? Let me just try opening a fresh terminal. Maybe it's actually just that stupid. This is a really nice pop house track. This is Marshmello. I feel like when it comes to pop house, I'm really, really picky because, like, I mean, it's just like a very shallow genre. So, like, it's only going to be good if the fundamentals are really good. But I like this track. I think this track works out pretty well. It's got a good melody and a good drop, which is that's all you need in pop house. Okay, what are we doing here? Claude DD. Command not found. I opened a fresh terminal. Okay, so let me try doing source bash RC first. Okay, that worked. So I guess I just wasn't sourcing it. What I would like is for this to be automatic. But isn't this supposed to be automatic? Question mark. Don't edit any code. To clarify, my test was in a fresh terminal. Okay, while it diagnoses that, let's go back to Cerberus. Done. I've updated blah 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 for both. Okay, let's go ahead and reload Cerberus real quick. Oh, fuck. It's a little surprising. I'll send my love for you. Send my love for you. Oh shoot, it just went ahead with the reload anyway. Fuck. Okay, that was a little confusing, but I guess we're good now. Oh, I guess it was just a warning instead of an error. That's why. Let's get the webcam back up because we reloaded. In a fresh terminal, it should be sourced automatically. The fact that it's not suggests one of these common scenarios. You're opening a non-login shell that's not interactive. Some terminal emulators on WSL don't start bash as an interactive login shell, which affects which startup files are read. Your terminal is starting as a login shell. Login shells read profile instead of bash rc. Okay, WSL specific issue. Check if you have... Okay, we can do that. Okay, this does exist. Okay. Oh, I should also check bash profile, I guess. Wait, fuck, I checked bash rc, I'm fucking stupid, wait. Profile, let's check profile. Okay, this file exists. It's doing .home/bash rc. I don't really know what to make of that. Okay. Both blah dot profile and blah dot bash profile exist. Read those files to see if it has what you're expecting. Alright, back to Cerberus. Fixed. This thing actually... Oh, because it should have been window workspaces. It fucking found workspace windows? How did it fuck that up? It usually doesn't make a mistake like that. That's pretty weird. Okay, let's go ahead and do the reload! I don't know if you guys ever played Donkey Kong 64, but... that was a sick reference for anyone who didn't get it. Just letting you know. Okay, so now let's see if things work correctly. Let's go ahead and do Alt-Shift-Up on this. And what it should do is send it to workspace 16, I think. Let's check. 15, okay. Let's go ahead and send it to workspace 15. Let's do Alt-Shift-Up. Oh, that was fast. It wasn't slow at all. I don't know why it was so slow when we tried it before. So now if we do Alt-Shift-W, where did this thing end up? Workspace 15, baby! It worked! Let's fucking go! And now if we try... let's just do the same thing here. Let's do Alt-Shift-Down, I guess. What are we expecting for Alt-Shift-Down? We're expecting it to send it over to workspace 8. Okay. This is temporary. I'm going to turn it back. But Alt-Shift-Down. Let's go! Let's go! Alright. Now here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Right now, workspace 12 is empty, but it is named as far as I know. It's still named, I think. Oh, no, it's not named because I programmed it to remove the name when it's switching away the last window. That's right. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and send this baby back up and remove that name. Let's go ahead and send... Send this one back to 12. Control-Alt-Shift-2. Now we're going to do Alt-Shift or Control-Alt-2 to get back here. Alright. I'm going to change the name to Cerberus. We don't want it to be Windows Terminal. That's useless for us. Cerberus. Alright, that worked. Commit and push. Alright. And none of those things were slow at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the slow bug from here too. Which means the only thing to work on here is the README. Which we can do in a second. Let's go back to workspace 11 and see what's come here. Bash profile exists and does not source bash. Interesting. Update the README for this situation and take the necessary steps. Why was this thing talking to me? Okay. This is Tiesto, I think. I like some Tiesto stuff, but it's pretty style dependent. I guess I just like this style of house a lot. Tech house, I guess. I like those kind of sine wave synths, or maybe like Reese leads. I don't know what they are exactly, but they're very like dark and whistly, and I like those a lot. All right, let's go through this. And custom workspace names. Let's change it to layout preservation. Maintains window stacking order and relative size positions when switching workspaces. Oh, it already did this here, I guess. Oh, this is between sessions, I guess. Let's change this to like save load system. Visual indicators. Okay, all that seems fine. Keyboard shortcuts. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this, right? The rest of this is fine. Okay, so this is the only section I wanted to edit further, I think. Over here looks like it's done with this shit. So let's go ahead and open a new terminal and see if it works out. Okay, it worked! It worked! Let's go! Let's fucking go! It worked! Let's go! Okay. Plod DD is now working, which means all I gotta do is set it to public. And we're good. Well, I should check the README before we do that. That would be the responsible thing to do. Okay, so I just added this bash profile stuff. Okay, great. Okay, cool. I think everything else should be good. Which means this thing is pretty much good to open source, I think. I mean, we don't need there's no like exe for anything or anything. It's literally just some scripts. So we can go ahead and just open source it. I don't know if it's gonna... Let me switch overlays real quick, because I don't know if it's gonna show any sensitive information. Alright, let's see. Where do we make this public? Change visibility, change to public. I want to make this repository public. Oh, fuck. I have 2FA for this, which means I have to go use my phone, which my camera is running on. Okay, hold on. I'll make this work. I'll make this work. Don't worry.
Now you got me dancing on my own. Pick up the phone, 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 boom, boom.
And now it's public. All right, so for anyone in chat who wants to use Claude DD, Claude DD is now public. Sleepy Screens is public. 2 public releases today. I'm gonna make a video for each one probably, but all right. So for those of you who want to use this, you can go to github.com/pxprize/claudedd. If you click the GitHub link, that's linked in either the YouTube description or link to my Twitch or link to my Kick, whatever it is. You can just go to that and it'll have all my public repositories. I've got some old stuff there too. But Claude DD, if you want to safely, dangerously use Claude. And then Sleepy Screens, if you want to easily put your monitors to sleep. As such, real easy. This is the simplest program on the internet for doing this. So we got 2 releases today. Pretty cool. So now let's work on that Cerberus README. Let's work on the Cerberus README. Okay, the active monitor is determined by your mouse cursor position. This is the monitor that will be affected
Now you got me dancing
when you switch workspaces.
pick up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone, boom, 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 boom.
This is the monitor affected when you switch workspaces or assign custom names. I kind of like having sentences on their own lines. I don't know if that's like stupid, but I guess it's because it's probably just because I'm looking at it in like this .md format instead of like actually Markdown. It should look proper Markdown. Okay, workspace assignment. When Cerberus starts, it checks if there's an existing save file and loads. How do I want to? What's the easiest? How do I want to organize this information? Existing save file. If a save file exists, the workspaces are loaded with the last used workspaces displayed on the appropriate monitors. Is there a way I can do like sub bullets in Markdown? Like, can I do that for sub bullets? I don't really know how Markdown works. Windows are loaded to their last known workspaces, and the most recently active workspaces are displayed on the appropriate monitors. If no save file exists, it assigns sequential workspaces, windows on each monitor. I definitely want these as like 2 different, how do I do sub bullets? Markdown sub bullet. Nested lists. Oh, do I just put a space before the bullet? Is it that simple? Okay.
Keep watching. Like this, move from the back.
All right, so that should work for that. I think that's all accurate. Window memory. Cerberus remembers window positions and sizes relative to monitor dimensions as well as Z order per workspace. Window positions are preserved even moving between monitors of different sizes. Okay. Workspace naming. Workspaces can be named for easier identification. To assign a custom workspace name. Sending a window to an empty workspace. An empty, unnamed workspace automatically names it after the program. Okay, that seems good. So now all this readme stuff seems good, right? I think we're pretty much good here. Yo, what's up, Calamari? Just add a space before the listening getter. Ah, man, I wish I had seen your message a couple minutes ago. You can also use the split markdown editor in the top right corner. Yo, oh shit. Oh, I've seen this thing before. I totally forgot about it. Dude, thank you. It did not give me sub-bullets the way I was expecting. Is it because I need stars rather than dashes? Because this thing I looked up here on Firefox, it does 2 spaces and a bullet. What do you mean you got... Stupid. So if I do star... No, that didn't work. Calamari, you want to help me out here, homie? What am I getting wrong here? Oh, okay, 2 spaces and a bullet gets the job done. Okay. Okay. Alright. Alright, and I think with that, we're probably ready to release this thing. Oh, I should build the EXE. I guess it needs to be a tab rather than a space. Ah, okay, I guess I should have just used tabs then. That makes sense. So let me go ahead and build the EXE here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. It's so funny when I accidentally bring up the VTuber scene. It's such a janky VTuber too. Okay, okay, I got my AHK and my ICO. Now we just gotta build the EXE. All right, now we can go to Firefox. Go to Cerberus here. Create a new release. What was my previous one? Was my previous one V0? That makes sense, right? Yeah. Oh, fuck. It should have been V0. That's fucking stupid. This definitely should be V0. I don't know why it says V1. Well, I know why it says V1. It's because I'm silly. Can I not edit this? Actually, to be honest, this was a private release. I'm just gonna delete it. I don't care. Create a new release. V1. 1.0.0, I guess. Cerberus V1.0.0. Describe this release. I don't think I need to do that. Oops. Here's where I should have put it. I'm also going to put the README there. I think that makes sense. Publish release. Why did it generate this shit? I didn't ask for this shit. But whatever. I guess we have a release now. All I have to do is make servers public now. Let me go ahead and do that real quick, guys. I'll have to step away for a second once again to 2FA it, but so settings, the danger zone. Oh, I like that bass drop. That was cool. Oh, did I not need to 2FA it? I guess because I just 2FA'd it for the other one. So let's switch back here. All right, and we're public. We got all three things that I wanted to publicize today published, which I'm happy about. Let's go here. Why don't they all show up here? I want this to show my most recent ones more than my popular ones. Because my popular ones aren't popular. They have 3 stars each, so it's not really that useful. Is there a way I can just look at my full list of repos? Repos. Great. Alright, we got Cerberus public, we got Claude DD public, and we got Sleepy Screens public. I hope some of this is helpful to some of you guys. Just to recap really quick, Sleepy Screens, really straightforward executable that gives you a hotkey for turning all your monitors off. Claude DD, simple script that will automatically build a Docker image for you for Claude Code applications and will automatically create Claude containers for you, or Docker containers for your Claude applications for you. So just a very easy way to containerize your Claude work. And then Cerberus for multi-monitor workflow management. You know, you can assign all your windows to different workspaces that are 1 monitor each. Swap your monitors at will. Hide some monitors and bring up some monitors. You got 20 workspaces to work with. Really good for switching between a whole bunch of different tasks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress we made today, guys. So the next big thing that we have to finish is MinFlow. MinFlow is the next big thing we have to finish. This thing, I'm hoping to have released as a server-side product at some point. But this is the to-do list app I use for multi-project management. It goes really well with Cerberus. I use the two together on a daily basis. You guys are gonna see this literally every time I stream. So yeah, finishing this up is like the next big task. Let's go ahead and complete these tasks here. Test. These can now be made very small. I'll keep them around just in case I need to add stuff to them later. But they can be... Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll keep them really small just in case I want to add stuff to them later. But our big task right now is going to be MinFlow. There's a whole bunch of things I want to do with this to-do list app. I want to get the Fly deployment working. We had it working at one point where it would deploy on Fly.io, but it's broken since then. Got to get that working. Right now, these decks, whenever you add a card, adds to the bottom of the deck. But sometimes you just have a high priority item. You want to add it right to the top. I want to add a second add card button for that. Multiple note tabs. So as you can see, I have like a notes tab right here that basically acts as a rich text editor in addition to your to-do list app. Very useful. Would be more useful if you have multiple tabs. I want to add multiple tabs. Recurrent decks, which are decks that cycle around every time you complete them. Useful for stuff like daily routines. Like for my dog, I have a whole bunch of things I need to do for him every day, so this is a recurrent deck. This is a bit buggy right now, so I gotta fix those bugs. Every time I open MinFlow fresh, it doesn't show the old completed tasks I've done, so I want to do that. The order of tasks listed here is in the wrong order, I think. I think it's ordered based on creation date rather than completion date. So I want to fix that. Sometimes it's kind of slow. There's like certain aspects where like I don't know exactly why it's slow, but it's slow. I need to investigate those. I want to control Z. If you move things around, you should be able to control Z that. If you scale things, resize things, you need to control Z that. By default, there's a tutorial deck whenever you start a new account with MinFlow. It's called Setting Up MinFlow. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen like... There are certain video games that are really good at like showing you how to play the video game just directly through the gameplay itself. Stuff like Mega Man, I think X3 comes to mind. Stuff like Super Mario Bros. 3 comes to mind. Similarly, I want to have a MinFlow account just start up with a deck that's basically a project of tasks that you go through to like set up your Binflow profile. But right now it's really out of date, so I want to address that. What else do we gotta do? Grid snapping would be nice. It's not really high priority, but if I could get these things to snap to a grid to each other, it would look more aesthetic, I think. And then finally, if I can select multiple things at once and move them around, but I can't resize them all at once. So being able to do that would be really nice too. So I have all these little minor things that I want to work on with Minflow before we make it a release. And that's going to be the next thing we work on. I think for now I'm pretty happy with progress. We released a whole bunch of code today. I hope it's useful for some of you guys. I'll be making videos later on these different tasks, on these different projects. But yeah, I think for now it's time for me to grab some grub. All I've had today is a banana and some peanuts, so I want to eat some real food. Take my dog to the park, and then probably do some meditating later. And yeah, probably I'll be back. I don't know if I'll be back tonight or tomorrow or the day after, but sometime I will be back. And we'll have some fun updating Minflow, getting some of these other coding projects off the ground. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Calamari, good seeing you too, homie. All right, peace out, everyone. Oh, and make sure if you like this content, hit me with a follow on Twitch, hit me with a sub on YouTube. You know, the usual. See you guys.
Said I want it all from me. He asked me if I'm dressed for the ride. Wanna pull my pants, come on.